There is something about the deep ocean that mesmerizes all of us. From scientific discoveries in the depths to stuff of myths and legends, the ocean is filled with secrets waiting to be unveiled. This raises a few questions in all our heads. Why does the ocean capture our imaginations so deeply? What lies hidden beneath its depths that we've yet to discover? Are there creatures and wonders we've never even dreamed of? These ideas have held explorers, scientists, and dreamers in a chokehold for centuries. Like a moth to a flame, we'll journey deeper into the unknown parts of the ocean and unravel some of its secrets. In an attempt to scratch the surface of its mysteries, imagine drifting beneath the waves, where sunlight starts to fade until a cold, blue nothingness surrounds you. The gentle flow of it calms you like none other, like a reassuring warmth that flows with its waves. However, the deeper you go, the stranger things become. The deep ocean transforms into a quiet yet eerie scene. You get goosebumps, but the ocean is too vast, endless, and indifferent. It stretches out in every direction, holding fascinating mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Since the beginning of time, we humans have looked out over the ocean with awe. We've been inspired, afraid, and even died in its pursuit. Its horizon seems infinite, a mirror to the sky. However, make no mistake, the ocean is not simply a mirror. It's a world of its own, filled with life, landscapes, and hidden histories. We've mapped more of the moon than we have of the ocean floor. This leaves a huge area of our own planet, 71% to be exact, shrouded in mystery. Imagine the creatures that could be lurking in these depths, the kind that sparks both curiosity and fear. Could there be enormous squids, larger than anything we've seen before, swimming in the darkest corners of the abyss? Or maybe there are species with glowing bodies that light up the midnight ocean like a starry sky. Even a megalodon could be hidden down there. The ocean holds endless possibilities, and the deeper we go, the stranger and more fascinating it becomes. Evolutionary marvels like the vampire squid await us. You might be wondering, how have we explored so little of the ocean? Why is it still so mysterious when we've explored the rest of the planet in detail? The answer lies in the sheer depth and power of the sea. The ocean is a force of nature, so relentless and untamable that no one dares to venture there. After all, it's the ocean that swallowed the legendary Atlantis. Now, real sunken cities have been found across the world. We've rediscovered many such places like Doggerland and Bimini Road. Imagine what it must feel like to explore a place where no light from the sun has ever reached. Can you blame the scientist for not wanting to do that deep? A place where the pressure reaches 16,000 psi. It could crush a human body in moments. There is also the aspect of time. The ocean has been around for billions of years. In that time, it has seen civilizations rise and fall, species evolve and go extinct, and landscapes shift and change. Once the Megalodon and Leviathan ruled supremely over these waves, now they're dead. Or perhaps they're just hidden away. We're rediscovering species that should have been extinct. Among them is the Gotland shark, dating back to 125 million years ago. Who knows what lies beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered? And it's this sense of the unknown that keeps us hooked. Like a pirate is drawn to the treasure, we're drawn to unveil the ocean's secrets, just as many actual pirates were drawn and ultimately swallowed by the ocean. Their mighty ships, like the Queen Anne's Revenge, lay sunken at the ocean floor. There's something calming yet humbling about the ocean's mysteries too. In a world where we are constantly searching for answers and explanations, there are still places that remain beyond our reach. On top of that, they're beyond our understanding. Alien vessels have been sighted entering and leaving the ocean. US Navy declassified videos show flying objects moving at incredible speeds before plunging into the ocean. These secrets defy logic and rationality. They take an elusive, inexplicable form. As we begin this journey, there's no telling what we might find. And what better way to explore it than methodically going through each of its layers, starting with what's known as the sunlight zone. Right now, we are at the surface, where the sun still sparkles on the water and familiar creatures swim. However, as we'll begin a journey into the heart of the ocean, into the abyss, things will get scary. Descending into the ocean, the light from the surface gradually fades until it disappears entirely. Each layer of the ocean brings new surprises, new creatures, and new mysteries. Our journey starts in the epipelagic zone, often called the sunlight zone. It's the layer that feels most known to us. It's the part of the ocean we often see when we stand by the shore or look out at the sea. This zone extends from the surface down to about 200 meters. Here, sunlight penetrates the water, allowing photosynthesis to occur, and the water is full of life. The temperature in this zone can vary widely, from the warm waters of the tropics to the cooler regions near the poles. Nevertheless, the constant presence of light makes it a hub of biological activity. Thanks to this sunlight, the epipelagic zone supports the growth of phytoplankton, the base of the ocean's food chain. These tiny organisms are vital for marine ecosystems. They play a key role in the global environment by producing about 50 to 85% of the Earth's oxygen through photosynthesis. This makes the basis of the entire food web. This sustains a wide range of trophic levels, from small plankton to massive predators like sharks and dolphins. In this layer, we find dolphins playfully leaping through the waves, sea turtles gliding effortlessly, and a vast variety of fishes shimmering as they dart back and forth. It's not all playful though. Sharks also patrol this zone. Sleek and powerful, they're the apex predators of the upper ocean. The zone is also home to the blue whale, which often feeds here on krill. You can imagine the energy and movement in these waters like your recent beach trip. It's vibrant, alive with activity, and teeming with mostly harmless creatures that are part of the ocean's delicate balance. A vast variety of fish species, including tuna, sardines, and mackerel, call this zone home. In addition to its rich biodiversity, the epipelagic zone hosts some of the ocean's fastest creatures, like the black marlin and sailfish, which can reach speeds of over 60 miles per hour. In an attempt to hide from the predators, smaller fish and cephalopods have adapted with camouflage techniques. Countershading, dark on top, light on the bottom, is a typical example of blending into their surroundings. Once evolution comes into play, things start getting strange. You think you'd know the upper layer of the ocean, but even in this familiar zone, there's still much that we don't fully understand. Creatures like the giant manta ray, with wingspans reaching over 20 feet, glide menacingly through these waters. It's truly an alien vision. They seem almost otherworldly. Yet, this is just the beginning. The sunlight starts to fade as we move deeper, and the creatures of the sunlight zone start to give way to stranger, more elusive beings. As they say, there's always the bigger fish, and in this case, these ones even scare the sharks. There's an entire world below that most of us have never seen. As we descend past 200 meters into the mesopelagic zone, or the twilight zone, the light begins to dim. The ocean takes on an otherworldly quality. This zone stretches down to around 1,000 meters. Sunlight barely reaches this layer, giving it its dim, shadowy character. As light fades, temperatures drop dramatically, ranging from 4 to 20 degrees Celsius. Now picture what lives in those cold, shadows depths. Imagine the transition from day to night in this underwater world. The only difference is that the sun never rises here. Out of necessity, creatures begin to glow. Evolution demands survival of the fittest, so they create their own light in the darkness. This is the realm of bioluminescence, where animals like the lanternfish and vampire squid light up the water around them with a ghostly glow. Picture these creatures drifting through the dark, their bodies flickering like stars in the night sky, guiding their way through the blackness. Their bioluminescence is highly energy efficient, producing light through a chemical reaction involving luciferin and luciferase enzymes, which is nearly 100% efficient with minimal heat production. The lanternfish, scientifically known as Myctophida, is one of the most abundant species in the ocean. Lanternfish are named for their ability to produce light through specialized cells called photophores. These cells emit light to attract prey, communicate, and camouflage themselves from predators using counter-illumination. Think of it as a radar with a built-in trap. Lanternfish are typically small, ranging from 2 to 30 centimeters in length, with the majority averaging about 10 centimeters. What it lacks in size, it makes up for in numbers, with billions of them filling the twilight zone. What's more is that there are over 240 species of lanternfish, making them one of the most diverse families of deep-sea fish. They swim through the dark in vast, shimmering schools, lighting up the water in ways that seem almost magical. On the surface, these torches wouldn't bother us much, but it's the deep ocean that makes them scary. Because what sort of evolutionary game was played here to result in creatures like these? Then there's the vampire squid, a creature that looks like it belongs in a horror movie. The vampire squid's scientific name, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, translates to vampire squid from hell, though it is not an aggressive predator as the name might suggest. The first specimen of the vampire squid was discovered in 1903 by German marine biologist Carl Chun during an expedition to explore deep-sea life. Interestingly, it was initially classified as an octopus due to its unusual appearance. It is perfectly adapted to the extreme environment of the Twilight Zone. With large, red eyes and a cloak-like body, it glides silently through the depths. The vampire squid ejects a cloud of bioluminescent mucus when threatened, confusing predators with glowing particles while it escapes. The vampire squid is actually a gentle scavenger, living off small particles of dead matter that drift down from the upper layers of the ocean. That's because they inhabit the oxygen minimum zones of the ocean, typically at depths of 600 to 1,200 meters, where oxygen levels are too low for most other marine life to survive. This is where the truly bizarre world begins. As we sink deeper, the creatures become more alien, more creepy. The deeper we go, the more we leave behind the familiar, entering a world where life has adapted to survive in ways we can barely imagine. Beyond the Twilight Zone, we plunge into the bathypelagic zone, also known as the Midnight Zone. At depths between 1,000 and 4,000 meters, sunlight is non-existent. Total darkness envelops everything. The pressure here is immense, and the cold is biting, yet life persists. You know, the usual midnight experience. The temperature in this zone remains consistently cold, around 4 degrees Celsius, though it is not cold enough to freeze the water. Here, creatures have evolved to deal with the pitch-black environment. Without light, many rely on senses other than sight to navigate and hunt. Among them is one of the most famous and fearsome dwellers of the Midnight Zone, the anglerfish. It was first discovered in the 19th century. In 1833, Johann Friedrich von Eschscholtz, a German naturalist, classified the first known species, Lophius piscatorius. This small yet terrifying predator uses a glowing lure to attract prey, a fleshy growth called an esker that dangles from its head. This light-producing organ attracts prey in the deep, dark ocean. The light is produced through a symbiotic relationship with bioluminescent bacteria. It dangles the lure just above its massive, tooth-filled jaws. What happens next? In the void-like blackness, an unsuspecting fish sees the light, swims toward it, and then, snap! The anglerfish has its meal. They have disproportionately large mouths filled with sharp, fang-like teeth. Their mouths can open wide enough to swallow prey larger than themselves. This whole process is further aided by their highly elastic stomachs. One interesting phenomenon they exhibit is sexual dimorphism. Females are significantly larger than males. While females can reach sizes of up to 1 meter, males are much smaller, often just a few centimeters long. Due to the tiny size of the males, they survive in an incredibly creepy way. In many species of deep-sea anglerfish, males are parasitic. When a male finds a female, he bites into her skin and over time fuses with her, sharing her blood supply and receiving nutrients. The anglerfish has adapted to its surroundings over centuries. Fossil evidence suggests that their group originated more than 100 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. However, that doesn't make these creatures seem any less alien to us, almost as though they belong on another planet rather than in the ocean. The pressure here is so intense that it would crush a human instantly, yet these creatures thrive. Let's see a terrifying possibility here. What other grotesque creatures have adapted here? The anglerfish, with its horrific appearance and eerie glowing lure, is just one example of the extreme life that survives in this harsh environment. Another inhabitant of this zone is the gulper eel, its defining characteristics being its huge mouth and long, whip-like tail. The gulper eel can swallow prey much larger than itself. It uses its expandable jaws to devour anything that comes its way. It's a creature that looks like it belongs in a nightmare, yet it's perfectly adapted to its dark, deep-sea home. Our journey continues, and the Midnight Zone leads us to the most extreme and mysterious regions of the ocean. The depth is between 4,000 and 6,000 meters. Welcome to the Abyssopelagic Zone, or simply the Abyss. This is a world that is truly alien, cold, dark, and seemingly endless. This deep, isolated region is marked by freezing water temperatures, averaging just 2–3 degrees Celsius, making it one of the coldest environments on Earth. The name itself evokes a sense of the unknown. This abyss, like every other, is a place where few have ventured and even fewer have returned. The pressure in the abyssopelagic zone is staggering, reaching up to 11,000 psi. To put things into perspective, this is about 1,000 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. Despite these harsh conditions, life has found a way to thrive. Among the creatures inhabiting this zone are amphipods, sea cucumbers, and the deep-sea octopus. Naturally, some of these creatures are more fearsome than the others. The abyss is a battleground for these. In the abyss, giant squids battle with sperm whales in encounters that'll forever remain unseen. To put this into perspective, adult male sperm whales are 15 to 18 meters long and weigh 32 to 42 tons. The other fighter, the giant squid, can be 18 meters in total length. These elusive creatures, with their enormous eyes and long tentacles, remain one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. The terrifying news is that despite their size, giant squids are rarely seen. Much of what we know about them comes from the scars found on the bodies of sperm whales. We've only seen what they're capable of through the evidence of their fierce battles deep in the ocean. Can you imagine what it would be like to witness such a struggle far beneath the surface where no light reaches? The abyss is also home to strange jellyfish that glow in the dark. Their delicate, transparent bodies floating silently through the water. Quite the jump, isn't it? From giant behemoths to delicate jellyfishes living at the same depth. One of the most famous bioluminescent jellyfish in the abyssal layers is the Atolla jellyfish, known for its burglar alarm display. When threatened by predators, it flashes a series of bright rhythmic lights, likely to attract larger predators to scare away the attacker. These creatures seem almost too fragile to survive in such a hostile environment, yet they do. It's like a bicycle on a highway. You could say these jellyfishes are completely out of their depth. This part of the ocean is more like an alien world than our own planet. Life moves slowly here. One of the most significant sources of food in the abyss is the occurrence of whale falls, when a whale dies and its body sinks to the ocean floor. These events provide a source of food for a variety of abyssal creatures, sometimes feeding entire ecosystems for years. While that serves as nutrition for many, others survive around hydrothermal vents. These organisms bypass the need for sunlight altogether, relying on chemosynthesis by using chemicals from the Earth's interior to produce energy. The creatures here are adapted to a world with little food, little light, and crushing pressure. It's the best example of survival of the fittest. A place of survival where only the toughest, most resilient species can thrive. Some species of deep-sea shrimp and other scavengers have evolved to survive here, feeding on detritus and dead matter from the upper layers. The sense of isolation in the abyss is overwhelming. It's as though we've left behind everything we know and entered a black hole in another galaxy. Finally, the Hadal Zone, we reach the deepest part of the ocean. This zone includes the ocean's trenches, which go down to depths of over 11,000 meters. The water temperature in this zone hovers just above freezing, at around 1–2 degrees Celsius, and the oxygen levels are incredibly low. The pressure here is so intense that it's nearly unimaginable. You might have pressure from deadlines, but even those don't compare to this. To top it all off, the temperature hovers just above freezing. Even in these extreme conditions, life persists. And what scary form of life it must be to exist in surroundings like these. The crushing pressure in the Hadal Zone can exceed 1,100 atmospheres, about 16,000 psi, making it one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. The Challenger Deep, the lowest point in the Mariana Trench, holds the record as the deepest known point on the planet, reaching about 10,994 meters. Imagine descending into the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. The weight of the water above it is equivalent to 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of each other. It's a place where light, warmth, and even time itself seem to disappear. What kind of creatures could survive in such an inhospitable place? Really, it's borderline inhabitable. Despite the overwhelming pressure, a few specially designed vessels, such as the Trieste and Deep Sea Challenger, have managed to descend to these depths. This implies fascinating possibilities for deep-sea exploration in the future. The things that live in the Hadal Zone are completely beyond logic. They shouldn't exist, but they do. Among them are giant tube worms that thrive near hydrothermal vents, feeding on the chemicals released from the Earth's crust. Then there are the deep-sea fish with transparent bodies and enormous eyes. The eyes are an evolutionary adaptation to see in total darkness. These species are unlike anything we've ever seen on land. Tiny crustaceans called amphipods are some of the most common inhabitants. The Hadal seafloor is covered with sea cucumbers. With no sunlight ever reaching this zone, it exists in perpetual darkness, and life depends heavily on marine snow. In other words, organic particles that drift down from higher zones. The Hadal Zone is a test for the limits of our technologies and capabilities. In the 1960s, researchers mistakenly believed they had discovered flatfish living at these depths, but this claim was later debunked. This shows just how difficult it is to study this zone. Will we ever be able to explore it to the very end? Time will tell. It's the last place on Earth that remains truly unexplored. It's a place where the possibility of discovering new species is not just likely, but almost guaranteed. And who knows what else might be lurking in these depths? Gigantic creatures we've never encountered, species that were supposed to be extinct, or even entire ecosystems that exist in isolation from the rest of the world. Through all the layers of the ocean, it's clear that the deeper we go, the more questions arise. What other wonders does the ocean hold? These depths are as fascinating as they are terrifying. The mysteries of the ocean are far from being fully revealed, but one thing is certain. The ocean is a world unlike any other, and its secrets are still waiting to be discovered. Among those secrets are the unseen creatures that lurk there. We've done a layer-by-layer analysis, but let's explore specific species that are too strange to be from this planet. The ocean is home to creatures that defy our understanding. Who knows? Even Godzilla might be sleeping at the bottom. These creatures, with their alien-like features and bizarre adaptations, remind us how much of the ocean defies our biological knowledge. There exist things that should have never existed, as per our current understanding. Imagine drifting through the depths, your surroundings pitch black, and suddenly encountering a glowing tentacled figure or a creature with an eye the size of a dinner plate. Welcome to the world of unseen life forms. At the top, we have giant and even colossal squids. If you think they're not that special, it's only because we don't have the means to imagine them properly. The sheer size of these creatures is enough to cause havoc if they ever surfaced. For centuries, tales of monstrous squids have captured the human imagination. Stories of legendary sea monsters like the kraken have spread like wildfire. They're said to be capable of dragging entire ships into the depths, and that's remained the worst nightmare of sailors for centuries. Make no mistake, there's truth to these legends. The kraken might very well exist, we just haven't searched deep enough yet. As wild as these legends may seem, they are rooted in the existence of real creatures. The giant squid and its even larger relative, the colossal squid, are the ones to credit for these horrors. The giant squid can grow up to 40 feet long. That's just the sheer size of this behemoth. What's more is that its eyes are the size of soccer balls. It has massive tentacles lined with sharp-toothed suckers. Thankfully, these squid are rarely seen by humans as they inhabit the deep ocean, far from the reach of sunlight. Yet, over the years, we have found evidence of their existence. Dead squids have washed ashore, and some have even been caught on camera in their natural habitat. Sometimes, we even get to see the evidence in the shape of wounds on their victims. Creatures like sperm whales have been repeatedly seen with odd wounds that prove the squid's existence. That was just the giant squid, there's a colossal one too. What makes the colossal squid even more intriguing is its size and strength. It can grow up to 46 feet long, with tentacles that seem almost otherworldly. This massive creature has only been observed a handful of times, and much of its life remains a mystery. Scientists believe that the colossal squid is not only larger than the giant squid, but also more aggressive. Can you imagine coming face to face with such a creature in the dark, cold depths of the ocean? Over the years, scientists have learned a lot more about these mysterious giants. However, there's still so much we don't know. How deep do they live? How do they hunt? Are they a threat to us? And how many more colossal squids are out there, hidden in the uncharted waters? These questions keep scientists searching. Meanwhile, the rest of us can marvel at the idea that such creatures exist in the same world we inhabit. The reason they're so hard to spot is because there's no vision or light at the bottom of the sea. We can't observe them, but over centuries, the creatures down there have developed methods to see in the dark. Deep down in the cold and uncaring ocean, we enter a world where sunlight no longer reaches. It's a place of eternal night and darkness, yet many creatures have found a way to create their own light. This phenomenon, known as bioluminescence, is one of the ocean's most fascinating mysteries. This light is created by the interaction of luciferin, a light-emitting molecule, and luciferase, an enzyme within the organism. Imagine swimming through the pitch-black water only to be surrounded by glowing, pulsing lights coming from the bodies of strange, alien-like creatures. The light alone would not be as creepy, but the fact that they're biologically attached to beings that look like they landed from a galaxy far away is what makes it horrific. Deep-sea jellyfish, like the Equoria victoria, glow using bioluminescence to scare away predators. This particular jellyfish led to the discovery of green fluorescent protein, which revolutionized scientific research. They possess delicate, translucent bodies glowing in blues, greens, and even reds as they drift through the water. Some of these jellyfish use their light to confuse predators, while others flash to communicate with their own kind. If they can communicate like that, perhaps there are sentient creatures in the deep sea too, like the species of glow-in-the-dark millipede from California that emits a greenish glow as a defense mechanism to warn potential predators of its toxicity. At times, even predators use this to catch their prey. In certain cave systems, like the Waitomo Caves in New Zealand, glowworms create displays of bioluminescence to attract prey into their silk webs. On the other hand, tiny plankton, known as dinoflagellates, are some of the most well-known bioluminescent organisms. They can cause glowing waves in the ocean and are responsible for the phenomenon known as sea sparkle. On certain nights in specific parts of the world, you can witness the phenomenon known as bioluminescent bays. During this, every movement in the water is lit up by glowing plankton, making the sea shimmer with light. It looks like the stars have fallen from the sky into the ocean. Among the creepiness, they create an experience that feels almost magical. As we learn more about bioluminescence, it becomes clear that the ocean is home to an entirely different kind of light. A light that humans are only just beginning to understand. But this light shines upon behemoths in the deep ocean, creatures that nobody definitively knows about, yet everyone is afraid of. Legends of giant sea creatures have fascinated humanity for generations. Take the Norse myth of Jomungandr. Our literature is filled with such sea creatures. Some believe that they're not just myths and the ocean still hides enormous, undiscovered beings. The Kraken, with its gigantic tentacles and ship-wrecking strength, is one of the most famous mythical sea monsters. But could such creatures still exist today? The ocean's depths are home to some of the largest animals on Earth. While we know about creatures like whales and giant squids, there are theories about even bigger, more elusive beings. One such theory that undoubtedly scares everyone is the existence of the megalodon. Picture a massive prehistoric shark believed to have gone extinct millions of years ago. With teeth the size of a human hand and an estimated length of up to 60 feet, the megalodon was a predator unlike any other. None of us want a predator like that roaming the deep sea, hidden and deadly. Some speculate that the megalodon could still exist, lurking in the deepest, unexplored parts of the ocean. There have been reports of massive, unidentified creatures seen by submarines and sonar equipment. This has led to the belief that the ocean's depths may hide even larger predators than we can imagine. While no concrete evidence of a living megalodon has been found, the possibility alone sends chills down our spines. And how are we even supposed to find the evidence? Our technology cannot withstand the crushing pressure of the ocean depths. Could there be other gigantic, undiscovered creatures living in the deep? With 80% of the ocean still unexplored, the idea isn't as far-fetched as it seems. The deep ocean is one of the least understood parts of our planet, and it may hold creatures that rival our wildest imaginations. While huge creatures are terrifying, small worms are just as horrific. They have the added touch of being somewhat disgusting. The ocean is full of creatures that live in extreme conditions, but few are as bizarre as the zombie worms and tube worms. These strange animals have adapted to some of the most hostile environments on Earth, surviving where almost nothing else can. Zombie worms, also known as Osedax, are tiny creatures that feed on the bones of dead whales. They secrete acid to bore into the bones and consume the nutrients within. These worms have no mouth or stomach, relying on bacteria inside their bodies to break down the bone matter. It's a truly alien way of life, feeding off the remnants of one of the ocean's largest creatures in the darkness of the deep sea. Tube worms, on the other hand, thrive near hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. These vents spew out superheated water rich in chemicals, creating an environment that is toxic to most forms of life. Yet, tube worms have adapted to survive in these extreme conditions, using bacteria inside their bodies to convert the chemicals into energy. These worms can grow to over 8 feet long, with bright red plumes that stand out in the otherwise dark and barren landscape of the ocean floor. Both zombie worms and tube worms drive home at one point: the incredible adaptability of life in the ocean. They survive even in the most hostile, unlikely places. Life finds a way to thrive, just like how it managed to make an immortal creature. Yes, the deep ocean houses the secret to an eternal life. Among the strange creatures of the deep, one stands out for its incredible ability to cheat death: the immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dohrnii. This small, unassuming jellyfish has a unique trick up its sleeve. It can reverse its aging process. When faced with injury or the prospect of death, the immortal jellyfish can revert to its juvenile form. This means it can essentially start its life cycle over again. It's as if a human could turn back into a baby, live through childhood and adulthood once more. Now imagine repeating the process indefinitely for as long as you wanted. While the immortal jellyfish isn't truly immortal in the sense. Sure, it can't be killed, but its ability to escape aging makes it one of the most remarkable creatures in the ocean, and that's definitely something. This discovery has sparked interest in the scientific community as researchers wonder whether the jellyfish holds clues to understanding aging and potentially extending human life. Imagine a world where humans could control their aging, just as the immortal jellyfish does. The possibilities are both fascinating and mind-boggling. There's a common theme here: the ocean is housing, in its depths, many strange species. These were born through the relentless force of evolution. But that raises a question: what other strange species exist that are still undiscovered? Perhaps the most exciting aspect of the ocean's mysteries is the knowledge that so much remains undiscovered. 80% of the ocean is still unexplored, leaving an immense area where new species could be hiding. What kinds of creatures might we find in these uncharted waters? Could there be massive, alien-like beings lurking in the deep trenches? Regions like the deep sea trenches, coral reefs, and seamounts are considered biodiversity hotspots. Here, many undiscovered species may exist due to their isolated and unique environments. Recent discoveries include species of jellyfish that look like delicate, floating flowers and bizarre fish that have evolved to live in total darkness. On top of that, scientists hypothesize that many undiscovered species in the deep ocean exhibit deep-sea gigantism, a phenomenon where animals grow to much larger sizes than they would in shallow water. This is due to extreme pressure, colder temperatures, and a scarcity of food. On average, scientists discover around 2,000 new marine species each year. This number is only going to increase exponentially as technology improves and more regions of the ocean are explored. From giant squids battling in the deep to tiny zombie worms feeding on bones, the creatures of the ocean's depths are unlike anything else on Earth. Imagine the price we pay to watch these beings in giant aquariums. Many marine species are cryptic, meaning they are visually similar to known species but genetically distinct. Advances in DNA barcoding and genetic sequencing are helping scientists identify new species that were previously overlooked. The ocean facilitated the creation and life of these creatures, but sometimes it becomes the raft that destroys. This is exactly what happened in the past as the ocean claimed many sunken cities. The ocean has always been a source of mystery and awe, and we've uncovered many of them already. But perhaps one of its most intriguing secrets lies in the remnants of ancient civilizations buried beneath its waters. Imagine a city once bustling with life, where people lived, traded. These grand cities are now completely submerged, hidden away in the depths of the ocean. What happened to these places? How did they vanish beneath the waves? From the legendary Atlantis to the real ruins found beneath the waters. The idea of lost worlds beneath the ocean's surface stirs the imagination and invites us to wonder about the mysteries of the past. No discussion of sunken civilizations would be complete without mentioning Atlantis. Quite literally the most famous lost city of all time. It's been in our literature since forever. The story of Atlantis originates from the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who described it around 360 BCE in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a powerful and advanced civilization that sank into the ocean around 9,000 years before his time. It was a night of catastrophic events that sank Atlantis beneath the waves, never to be seen again. Atlantis has captured the human imagination for thousands of years. Atlantis is described as an advanced and wealthy society with impressive architecture, complex canal systems, and advanced technology for its time. It was said to have been larger than Libya and Asia combined. The legend of an advanced civilization wiped out in a sudden disaster has led to endless speculation. Could there really have been a city like Atlantis? Or was it just a creation of Plato's mind, meant to serve as a moral lesson on the dangers of greed and hubris? Some believe that Atlantis was a real place, possibly located in areas that are now submerged due to rising sea levels or geological shifts. According to Plato's work, Atlantis was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules. This is believed to be the modern-day Strait of Gibraltar. Some researchers believe Atlantis may have been inspired by the Minoan civilization, which thrived on the Greek island of Crete and Santorini. The Minoans were destroyed by a volcanic eruption around 1600 BCE, which caused tsunamis and widespread destruction. Other theories suggest that Atlantis could have been in the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, or even as far away as Antarctica. Others point to volcanic islands like Santorini, which was devastated by a massive volcanic eruption thousands of years ago, as potential inspirations for Plato's story. As we gaze out over the vast ocean, it's hard not to wonder if Atlantis, or a city like it, really did exist. Could there be ruins of an ancient civilization hidden beneath the waves, just waiting to be discovered? And if so, what might we learn from its rise and fall? These are the questions that keep the legend of Atlantis alive, even after thousands of years. While Atlantis remains a matter of legend, real underwater ruins have been discovered in various parts of the world, offering glimpses into histories now lost beneath the sea. One such discovery is the city of Dwarka, located off the coast of India. Mentioned in ancient Indian texts, Dwarka was said to be the kingdom of Krishna, a major figure in Hindu mythology. For centuries, Dwarka was believed to be a myth, much like Atlantis. However, in the late 20th century, divers discovered what appeared to be ruins of an ancient city beneath the waters of the Arabian Sea. The ruins include stone structures, streets, and walls, leading some to believe that this could be the fabled city of Dwarka. Another fascinating underwater site is the Yonaguni Monument, located off the coast of Japan. This massive underwater structure, made of stone, resembles a series of terraces or platforms, and it has sparked debate among archaeologists. Some believe it to be a natural rock formation, while others argue that the precision of the cuts and the arrangement of the stone suggest that it is man-made, perhaps part of an ancient city or temple that was submerged during a seismic event. Imagine diving beneath the waves and coming across the ruins of a lost civilization. Stone streets, once walked by ancient people, now lie silent and covered in coral. What stories could these ruins tell us about the people who lived there? Could there be more cities like Dwarka and Yonaguni somewhere deep in the ocean? The answer is yes. Doggerland was a vast landmass that once connected Britain to mainland Europe during the last ice age, specifically between 20,000 to 8,000 years ago. It stretched from what is now the east coast of Britain to present-day Denmark, the Netherlands, and Germany. At its largest, Doggerland covered an area roughly 100,000 square miles. That's roughly the size of modern-day Poland. However, Doggerland was swallowed by the rising waters of the North Sea, slowly disappearing beneath the waves. The name comes from the Dogger Bank, a large sandbank in the North Sea. The Dogger Bank is now underwater, but is thought to have been a highland region within Doggerland during its existence. Archaeologists believe Doggerland was inhabited by Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. It provided a rich environment for early humans, with rivers, lakes, and a variety of wildlife. The concept of Doggerland emerged in the 20th century, but it wasn't until the 1990s that significant archaeological research and scientific studies were conducted. Fishermen in the North Sea frequently hauled up prehistoric bones and tools. This led scientists to speculate about the submerged landmass. It's just a taste of what kind of life might have been there. Imagine an ancient world where humans lived alongside giant mammals like the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed tiger. Then, slowly, the water begins to rise, forcing the people to migrate or adapt as their world changes before their eyes. Doggerland's final flooding may have been triggered by a catastrophic event known as the Storegga Slide, a massive undercell landslide off the coast of Norway around 6200 BCE. This caused a tsunami that would have wiped out much of the remaining land and its inhabitants. Doggerland might not be the only city to face this fate. Even places we take for granted today, like the English Channel and the North Sea, were once dry land. It raises the question, how many more ancient landscapes have been lost to the ocean over the millennia, their history washed away by time and tide? And our next sunken piece of history takes us all the way to the Bahamas. In the shallow waters near the Bahamas, a curious underwater formation known as the Bimini Road has puzzled researchers for decades. This structure comprises large, flat stones laid out in a straight line. The curious formation has led some to believe that it could be part of an ancient submerged city. The Bimini Road was first discovered in 1968, and since then, many have speculated about its origins. It could be the remains of an ancient harbor, roadway, or even part of the legendary Atlantis. Or is it simply a natural formation created by geological processes over time? The stones of the Bimini Road are incredibly precise. It's almost as if they were laid out by human hands. Yet, scientists remain divided on whether the formation is man-made or natural. But the mystery of the Bimini Road captures the imagination. We cannot even begin to dream of forgotten civilizations that might have once flourished in the area. Could it be that an entire city lies beneath the waters of the Bahamas, hidden by the sands of time? Could be, but there's one thing for sure: cities aren't the only things the deep oceanic abyss claimed. Men's relation with the sea has always been an essential one. It used to be, and arguably still is, the most important mode of transport. This ocean doesn't just hide ancient cities, it also holds the remains of countless shipwrecks, many of which are believed to be laden with treasure. The golden age of piracy left behind countless legends about lost ships. These ships were filled with gold, jewels, and other precious cargo. While some of these shipwrecks have been discovered, many more remain hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be found by modern explorers. One of the most famous shipwrecks is the Whydah Galley, a pirate ship that sank off the coast of Cape Cod in 1717. The ship, captained by the notorious pirate Black Sam Bellamy, was rumored to be carrying a fortune in gold and silver when it went down during a storm. The wreck was discovered in 1984, and since then, divers have recovered thousands of artifacts, including gold coins and pirate weapons. But the Whydah is just one of many treasure-laden ships still lying on the ocean floor. Could there be more, filled with untold riches, waiting to be discovered? Just try to imagine how valuable those treasures are. We're talking pure gold, rarest jewels, and artifacts worth millions. This allure of lost pirate treasure has captivated adventurers for centuries, and it continues to draw treasure hunters to the sea in search of fortune. Imagine stumbling upon an old pirate shipwreck, its wooden beams creaking as the ocean currents sway its remains. As you explore the wreck, you discover a chest filled with gold coins, untouched for centuries. We've seen that some of the things hidden beneath the surface are downright horrific. However, some of them may be worth more than we can imagine. But more on that later. In this exploration of sunken civilizations and lost cities, we've barely scratched the surface of the mysteries that lie beneath the waves. From the legends of Atlantis to the real ruins of Dwarka and Yonaguni, the ocean is a vast archive of history, holding the stories of ancient civilizations that were swallowed by the sea. The idea that entire cities, cultures, and even treasure-filled ships could lie hidden beneath the water. They're forgotten by time and are only captured in our movies and books. Could the next great archaeological discovery be waiting in the depths, just out of reach? Perhaps the lost worlds of the past are not as far away as they seem. Speaking of mankind's lost architecture, the ocean has its own buildings and landscape. At the depth level where sunlight never penetrates and the water is as black as night, the temperature fluctuates between freezing cold and scorching hot. We're talking below the abyssal layer. Beyond that layer, the landscape of the deep ocean is so alien that it feels like stepping onto another planet. In this vast, hidden world, the ocean floor is sculpted by volcanic activity. We have detected towering underwater mountains and deep trenches that plummet to unimaginable depths. These features are not just geological wonders, they are the home to stranger ecosystems and life forms, creatures that have adapted to survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. As we continue this journey, we will explore these alien landscapes: hydrothermal vents, black smokers, underwater volcanoes, and the deepest trench on Earth, the Mariana Trench. These places, so distant and mysterious, show us the power and beauty of the ocean's depths. Sure, it is creepy and strange, but in a special way, it is incredibly sublime. A place where life finds a way even in the harshest conditions. These exist in a place where the pressure is crushing and the temperature is near freezing. We have seen them in the distance as a glowing plume of water shooting up from the ocean floor. Imagine facing this in your lifetime. As you approach, you realize you're witnessing a hydrothermal vent, a deep-sea geyser spewing superheated water and minerals from beneath the Earth's crust. Hydrothermal vents are one of the most extraordinary discoveries of the deep ocean. These underwater geysers form when seawater seeps into cracks in the ocean floor and comes into contact with magma. The water is heated to extreme temperatures, sometimes reaching over 700 degrees Fahrenheit, before being expelled back into the ocean in a cloud of minerals. What's truly remarkable about hydrothermal vents is that they support entire ecosystems that are completely independent of sunlight. In the absence of light, life here relies on chemosynthesis. It's a process where bacteria use chemicals like hydrogen sulfide to produce energy. These bacteria form the base of the food chain, supporting a diverse array of creatures, from giant tube worms to blind shrimp and vent crabs. That is a world where creatures thrive in complete darkness, living off the energy provided by the Earth itself. It's a landscape that feels otherworldly, a place where life can take root in even the most extreme and hostile environments. Hydrothermal vents are like oases in the desert of the deep ocean, pockets of life in a seemingly barren world. Beneath the waves, the Earth's crust is constantly shifting and reshaping itself. This volcanic activity plays a crucial role in shaping the landscape of the ocean floor, creating underwater volcanoes that can grow into towering mountains or even form entire islands. Hawaii, for example, owes its existence to a chain of underwater volcanoes that continue to shape the islands to this day. Thinking of the ocean floor rumbling as magma rises from deep within the Earth, bursting through cracks in the crust. Over time, these volcanic eruptions can build mountains that rise thousands of feet above the ocean floor, sometimes even breaking the surface to create new land. Underwater volcanoes are not just geological phenomena, they are also home to unique ecosystems. In the warm waters around these volcanic sites, life flourishes in the nutrient-rich environment. Fish, corals, and other marine creatures thrive in these volcanic waters, creating vibrant communities in an otherwise dark and cold world. Volcanic activity has shaped much of the ocean floor, but many underwater volcanoes remain unexplored, leaving us to wonder what secrets they might hold. Could there be undiscovered ecosystems, or even new forms of life, living in the shadow of these underwater giants? Among the most striking features of hydrothermal vents are the black smokers, towering chimney-like structures that spew dark clouds of minerals into the water. These black smokers get their name from the color of the mineral-rich water they release, which looks like black smoke rising from a chimney. Black smokers are formed when superheated water from deep within the Earth's crust interacts with the cold seawater, causing the minerals to solidify and build up over time. Some of these chimneys can grow to be several stories tall, creating surreal, alien-like landscapes on the ocean floor. What makes black smokers so fascinating is the life that surrounds them. Despite the extreme temperatures and high levels of toxic chemicals, these vents are home to a variety of organisms, including giant clams, tube worms, and crabs. These creatures have evolved to survive in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, relying on the chemosynthetic bacteria that thrive in the mineral-rich waters. Now try to think of this dark, eerie world where the only light comes from the glowing plumes of black smokers. Does that seem like a place on Earth? It's a place that feels more like a scene from a science fiction movie than something found on our own planet. Yet, despite the harsh conditions, life thrives here. This is all thanks to the harsh evolutionary forces that forced life into adaptability and resilience of the natural world. Beneath the waves, hidden from view, lie towering seamounts and flat-topped guyats, underwater mountains that rise from the ocean floor but never quite break the surface. These submerged peaks are some of the most prominent features of the ocean floor, yet many of them remain unexplored. Seamounts are often formed by volcanic activity, just like their above-ground counterparts. They can rise thousands of feet from the ocean floor, creating islands of life in the deep ocean. Because seamounts disrupt ocean currents, they create areas of nutrient-rich water that attract a wide variety of marine life, from fish to corals to deep-sea predators. Guyats, on the other hand, are seamounts that once rose above the surface but have since been eroded by the waves, leaving behind flat-topped peaks. These underwater plateaus are often covered in marine life, creating hidden ecosystems that flourish far from the light of the sun. Imagine exploring one of these underwater mountains, its slopes covered in coral and teeming with fish. As you descend further, the light fades and strange, unfamiliar creatures begin to appear, creatures that have evolved to survive in the dark, nutrient-rich waters surrounding the seamount. Seamounts and guyats are among the least explored areas of the ocean, leaving us to wonder what lies hidden on their slopes. Could there be species that have yet to be discovered, living in these underwater worlds that few have ever seen? Finally, we come to the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth and one of the most mysterious places in the ocean. Located in the western Pacific Ocean, the Mariana Trench plunges to a depth of nearly 36,000 feet, so deep that if you dropped Mount Everest into the trench, its peak would still be over a mile underwater. The Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the trench, is a place of crushing pressure, near freezing temperatures, and total darkness. Yet, despite these extreme conditions, life finds a way to survive in this alien world. Deep-sea fish, giant amphipods, and strange gelatinous creatures inhabit the trench, living in one of the most inhospitable environments on the planet. The Mariana Trench is so remote and difficult to explore that we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the trench's depths. This lack of knowledge fuels the mystery of the trench, leading some to speculate about the existence of undiscovered species or even ancient creatures that have survived in the isolation of the deep. Imagine standing on the edge of the Mariana Trench, looking down into the abyss. The water is so deep that no light can penetrate, and the pressure is so intense that most submarines cannot reach the bottom. What could be lurking in the darkness, waiting to be discovered? And this is where things start getting unexplainable. We're talking about the potential existence of prehistoric giants. Imagine swimming in the ocean's clear, calm waters, only to glance down and see the shadow of a massive creature gliding beneath you. Something so large it takes your breath away. It's a remnant of the ancient past. Perhaps when the seas were ruled by giants far more fearsome than anything alive today. Long before humans walked the earth, the oceans teemed with predators so powerful that they could take down whales and massive marine reptiles with ease. These prehistoric giants, from the infamous Megalodon to the monstrous Leviathan, were the kings of the deep. Although they've been gone for millions of years, their legacy still looms large. Let's start with the Megalodon, the giant shark that dominated the oceans some 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Imagine a predator larger than a school bus, with teeth the size of human heads. They were capable of biting through the bones of whales with ease. The Megalodon is thought to have been the largest predator to ever roam the seas, reaching lengths of 60 feet or more, with some estimates suggesting it could have grown even larger. What made Megalodon so terrifying wasn't just its size, it was its brutal hunting strategy. Fossil evidence shows that Megalodon often targeted the soft underbellies of large marine mammals, like whales, using its enormous teeth to deliver fatal bites. Imagine the power it must have taken to bring down a whale, an animal that even today's orcas, one of the ocean's top predators, struggle to overpower. But for all we know about Megalodon, its extinction remains a mystery. Some scientists believe it may have been driven to extinction by changes in ocean temperatures or the decline of its primary food source, large whales. Others speculate that competition from other predators, like orcas, could have played a role. And then, there's the question that fuels the imagination of many: could Megalodon still exist today? With so much of the ocean still unexplored, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Tales of giant sharks spotted by sailors and fishermen continue to surface, though none have been proven. Still, the idea of a massive ancient predator lurking in the deepest parts of the ocean remains one of the most tantalizing mysteries of marine science. While Megalodon ruled the seas, it wasn't the only ancient predator vying for supremacy. Scarier than any shark is the Leviathan, a massive whale with foot-long teeth and a hunting strategy that rivaled the mighty sharks. Named after the biblical sea monster, Leviathan, or Leviathan melvillei, lived during the Miocene epoch, and its fossil remains suggest it was one of the largest and most fearsome predators of its time. Leviathan likely hunted other whales, using its giant teeth, the largest of any known animal, to rip through flesh and bone. Fossil evidence indicates that Leviathan and Megalodon may have coexisted, sparking the imagination of what epic battles between these two ocean giants might have looked like. Imagine the sea churning with blood and chaos as two of the largest predators in Earth's history clashed in a fight for survival. It's a scene straight out of a prehistoric nightmare. Though Leviathan went extinct millions of years ago, its legacy as one of the ocean's most fearsome predators lives on in the fossil record. And while it may not have inspired as many legends as Megalodon, the sheer size and power of Leviathan make it a creature worth remembering. Before sharks and whales claimed dominance over the oceans, the seas were ruled by marine reptiles like plesiosaurs and mosasaurs. These giant reptiles roamed the oceans during the time of the dinosaurs, and their remains offer a glimpse into an alien world of toothy jaws, flippered bodies, and razor-sharp teeth. Imagine a plesiosaur snaking through the water as it stalks its prey. Plesiosaurs were known for their elongated necks, which could be up to 7 meters long, making them one of the most recognizable marine reptiles. They had small heads, large bodies, and were powered by foreflippers that allowed them to swim gracefully through the water. These ancient reptiles were among the top predators of the Jurassic seas. With their paddle-like limbs and powerful tails, they could swim with both grace and speed, making them formidable hunters. Plesiosaurs coexisted with other marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs. Savage and ruthless, as nature often is, larger plesiosaurs likely preyed on smaller plesiosaurs. Then there were the mosasaurs, which were even more fearsome. They were large marine lizards, more closely related to modern monitor lizards and snakes than to plesiosaurs. They were apex predators of the late Cretaceous period, dominating the oceans about 66 to 80 million years ago. Often referred to as the T-Rex of the sea, mosasaurs could grow up to 60 feet long and had a terrifyingly powerful bite. Fossil evidence shows that they likely hunted anything they could catch, from fish to other marine reptiles, and even small dinosaurs that ventured too close to the water. Like modern snakes, mosasaurs had double-hinged jaws and flexible skulls, allowing them to swallow large prey whole. Their jaws could unhinge to devour large fish, turtles, and even smaller mosasaurs. Although mosasaurs evolved from terrestrial lizards, they quickly adapted to marine life. Their limbs evolved into flippers, and they developed nostrils on the top of their snouts, allowing them to breathe air at the surface like whales or dolphins. Today, the remains of these giant reptiles inspire myths of sea monsters and tales of creatures lurking beneath the waves. Could some of these ancient creatures, or their descendants, still exist in the unexplored corners of our oceans? While it's unlikely, the fossil record serves as a reminder of a time when the oceans were ruled by monsters far larger and more dangerous than anything we've seen in the modern era. While many of the prehistoric giants of the sea have long since disappeared, there are a few species that have survived, so-called living fossils that have remained virtually unchanged for millions of years. One of the most famous examples is the coelacanth, a fish that was believed to have gone extinct around 66 million years ago, only to be rediscovered alive and well in the waters off the coast of South Africa in 1938. Coelacanths are estimated to be around 400 million years old, meaning they predate dinosaurs by about 200 million years. Their rediscovery was one of the greatest zoological finds of the 20th century. The discovery of the coelacanth was like finding a dinosaur alive today, sparking hope that other ancient creatures might still be out there, hidden in the depths of the ocean. Another living fossil, lungfish have been around for over 380 million years. They can breathe both underwater and in air, thanks to their primitive lungs, and can survive in dry environments by burrowing into mud. There's a common theme of surviving extinction here. Similarly, the goblin shark, often referred to as a living fossil, has a lineage that goes back about 125 million years. This deep-sea shark is known for its eerie, elongated snout and protruding jaws, which shoot forward to catch prey. Each and every one of these organisms are a wonder of nature. However, some are far less harmful and more valuable than others. Sturgeons have been around for about 250 million years, surviving mass extinction events, including the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. These fish are famous for producing caviar, one of the world's most expensive delicacies. These living fossils are a reminder that the oceans still hold many secrets, and the possibility of discovering something new or very old is always present. Imagine the excitement or horror of being the one to discover another species thought to be extinct. Could there be other prehistoric survivors still lurking in the ocean, waiting to be found? The rediscovery of the coelacanth gives us hope that the answer could be yes. Finally, we can't talk about ancient marine behemoths without mentioning one of the most famous sea creatures of all time, Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. While Nessie is often dismissed as a cryptid, with no solid evidence to support its existence, many believe that the creature could be a descendant of a plesiosaur or another ancient marine reptile. The Loch Ness is a deep, murky lake in Scotland, and for centuries, people have reported sightings of a large, long-necked creature swimming in its waters. While no conclusive evidence has ever been found, the legend of Nessie endures, fueled by the mystery of the deep and the possibility that prehistoric creatures might still exist. Could Nessie be real, or is it simply a myth born from our fascination with the unknown? While it's likely just a story, the idea of a living plesiosaur hiding in the depths of the loch keeps imaginations running wild. After all, the ocean is vast, and the unexplored places in our world are fewer and fewer. The possibility of ancient creatures hiding in plain sight is one we may never be able to fully rule out. In the end, the deep ocean remains one of the last great mysteries of our planet. From the megalodon to the coelacanth, these ancient marine behemoths remind us of a time when the oceans were far more dangerous and wild than they are today. As we continue to explore the deep, who knows what we might find next? Usually things are out of sight in the deeper layers of the ocean. Perhaps that's for our own good. Either way, since we can't see it, over the years we've heard some intriguing sounds. What's more is that we're not entirely sure what the source of it was. Imagine plunging beneath the surface of the ocean, the water closing in around you as the sounds of the surface fade away. As you descend, a new world opens up, one where sound travels differently, carrying across vast distances, and where creatures communicate in ways that are as alien as they are mysterious. The ocean, often perceived as a silent place, is anything but. It is filled with echoes, songs, clicks, and calls, each one a signal of life in a realm that is as vast as it is unknown. The sounds of the ocean are an orchestral symphony of their own, from the haunting songs of whales to the unexplained noises that continue to baffle scientists. Creatures like dolphins navigate using sound, while the eerie quiet of the deep ocean continues to hunt us. Every sound in the ocean tells a story, and as we listen closely, we realize how much there is still left to understand. There is perhaps no more iconic sound of the ocean than the song of the whale. These massive creatures, some of the largest animals to ever exist, fill the deep waters with haunting, melodic calls that can travel across entire oceans. Picture a humpback whale gliding gracefully through the water, releasing a series of eerie, otherworldly notes that echo for miles. These whale songs are both beautiful and mysterious. Researchers believe they may serve as a form of communication, but their full meaning remains elusive. Whale songs are made up of repeating patterns of sounds, almost like a piece of music. Humpback whales, in particular, are known for their long, complex songs that can last for hours. Each population of whales has its own unique song, and fascinatingly, these songs evolve over time. Imagine listening to a radio station where the playlist changes slowly over the years. This is how whale songs work. Whales sing the same patterns, but gradually introduce new elements, suggesting that they may be learning and adapting their songs as part of their social interactions. Some scientists believe that whale songs may be used for navigation, as the sounds can travel thousands of miles underwater, bouncing off underwater mountains and the ocean floor. Others theorize that the songs may play a role in mating rituals, with male whales singing to attract females. But whatever their purpose, whale songs are a reminder that the ocean is not a silent place. It is filled with voices, many of which we are only just beginning to understand. While the songs of whales fill the ocean with beauty, there are other sounds in the deep that are far more mysterious and a little unsettling. One of the most famous of these is the bloop, a low-frequency sound that was recorded by underwater microphones in the 1990s. The bloop was so loud and so strange that it captured the imagination of scientists and the public alike. It was unlike any sound ever recorded before, leading to wild speculation that it could have been produced by some massive, undiscovered creature lurking in the deep. However, after years of analysis, scientists now believe that the bloop was likely caused by icebergs cracking and breaking apart deep in the ocean. While this explanation may seem less exciting than the idea of a sea monster, it still speaks to the mysteries of the deep, the fact that the ocean can produce sounds so strange and powerful that we struggle to understand them. Another mysterious sound recorded in the ocean is the Julia, which was picked up by underwater microphones in 1999. Like the bloop, Julia was a low-frequency sound that lasted for several minutes, and to this day, its exact source remains unknown. Some believe it may also have been caused by icebergs, while others wonder if it could be linked to volcanic activity or other geological phenomena deep beneath the ocean floor. These unexplained sounds remind us that the ocean is still full of unknowns. With so much of the deep sea unexplored, who knows what other strange and eerie noises might be waiting to be discovered? Could some of them even be signs of life from creatures we have yet to encounter? While whale songs may travel vast distances, dolphins use sound in a much more targeted way. Dolphins, like bats, rely on echolocation to navigate their surroundings, especially in the darker depths of the ocean where light cannot reach. They emit clicks and whistles, and when these sounds bounce off objects, whether it's prey, predators, or obstacles, dolphins can see by listening to the echoes. Dolphins have an incredible ability to interpret these echoes, allowing them to form a mental image of their surroundings based on sound alone. Imagine being able to close your eyes and still see the world around you, not through sight, but through sound. That's what dolphins do. This skill is particularly useful in hunting, as it allows them to pinpoint the location of fish or squid, even in the pitch-black waters of the deep ocean. But dolphins don't just use echolocation for hunting. They also use a wide variety of clicks, whistles, and squeaks to communicate with each other. In fact, some researchers believe that dolphins may even have individual names, using specific sounds to identify one another. It's a fascinating possibility. Could these intelligent creatures have developed a form of language all their own? Imagine sailing on the open sea, the salty wind at your back, and the glimmering promise of unimaginable riches hidden beneath the waves. For centuries, pirates and explorers alike have chased after the glitter of gold and the promise of untold wealth buried in the deep. But while some found their fortunes, many met their watery graves, their treasures forever lost to the vast and mysterious ocean. The ocean floor is riddled with sunken treasures and shipwrecks from pirate legends that still captivate us today. From the notorious pirates of old like Captain Kidd and Blackbeard, whose treasures are said to be buried at the bottom of the sea, to the gold-filled Spanish galleons that once carried the wealth of empires, the ocean is a treasure chest waiting to be opened. We'll also dive into modern shipwreck discoveries and the incredible advances in technology that allow us to recover treasures that have been lost for centuries. But recovering sunken treasure isn't just about finding gold. It's a complex world filled with legal battles, ethical questions, and high-stakes adventures. When we think of pirates, it's hard not to picture their iconic images, eye patches, parrots, and of course, treasure maps marked with a big X. But while pirate legends are often larger than life, many of their stories are rooted in reality. Take Captain Kidd, for example. One of the most infamous pirates in history, Kidd was both a privateer and a pirate, raiding ships in the Indian Ocean during the late 17th century. But what makes Kidd's story particularly tantalizing is the treasure he supposedly buried before his capture. Legend has it that Captain Kidd buried a hoard of gold and jewels somewhere along the coast of Long Island, New York, in a desperate attempt to strike a deal for his freedom. While Kidd was eventually executed for piracy, his treasure has never been found, sparking a centuries-long hunt that continues to this day. Could the legendary Kidd's treasure still be out there, waiting to be discovered? Then there's the infamous Blackbeard, a pirate whose name strikes fear even now. Blackbeard, whose real name was Edward Teach, terrorized the Caribbean and the American coast in the early 18th century. His ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, was said to be filled with treasure from his many plundered ships. However, Blackbeard's reign came to a swift end in 1718 when he was killed in battle. The Queen Anne's Revenge, however, didn't disappear into myth. In 1996, the wreckage of what is believed to be Blackbeard's famous ship was discovered off the coast of North Carolina. Among the artifacts recovered were cannons, anchors, and other items that give us a glimpse into the life of this feared pirate. But as for Blackbeard's fabled treasure, it remains missing, if it ever existed at all. While pirates may have been notorious for their treasure hunts, they weren't the only ones to lose riches to the sea. During the 16th and 17th centuries, Spanish galleons sailed from the Americas back to Spain, carrying vast amounts of gold, silver, and jewels. These ships were floating treasure troves, filled with the wealth of the New World. But the journey across the Atlantic was perilous, and many galleons never made it back to Spain. One of the most famous of these lost treasures is that of the Nuestra Señora de Atocha, a Spanish galleon that sank off the coast of Florida in 1622. The Atocha was part of a fleet carrying gold, silver, and other valuables from the Americas to Spain when it was caught in a hurricane. The ship went down, along with its treasure, which was estimated to be worth millions by today's standards. For centuries, the Atocha's treasure lay buried beneath the ocean until 1985, when treasure hunter Mel Fisher and his team finally discovered the wreckage. Fisher's find was one of the most significant in history, yielding gold bars, silver coins, and emeralds that had been lost for more than 350 years. The discovery of the Atocha sparked a new wave of interest in treasure hunting as adventurers and historians alike began to wonder what other Spanish galleons might still be lying at the bottom of the sea. But not all galleons have been found. Many, like the San Jose, which sank off the coast of Colombia in 1708 with a cargo of gold and silver worth billions today, remain lost to the deep. The search for these sunken Spanish treasures continues, with modern technology giving treasure hunters new tools to explore the ocean's depths. Who knows what treasures still await discovery? While pirate ships and Spanish galleons are the stuff of legend, modern shipwreck discoveries have their own fascinating stories to tell. Perhaps the most famous of all is the Titanic, the unsinkable ship that met its tragic end on its maiden voyage in 1912. The Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic, sinking to the bottom of the ocean and taking over 1,500 lives with it. For decades, the Titanic's wreckage remained hidden, its exact location unknown. It wasn't until 1985 that the wreck was finally discovered by oceanographer Robert Ballard. The discovery of the Titanic was a monumental moment in maritime history, and it gave the world its first real glimpse of the ship's final resting place. The wreck lies over 12,000 feet below the surface, and though it is slowly deteriorating, it remains one of the most famous shipwrecks in history. Other modern shipwrecks, particularly from World War II, continue to capture the imagination. For example, the wreck of the USS Indianapolis, which sank in 1945 after being torpedoed by a Japanese submarine, was discovered in 2017. The Indianapolis had been on a secret mission to deliver parts for the atomic bomb, and its sinking is one of the most tragic stories of the war. The discovery of its wreckage, more than 70 years later, brought closure to the families of the sailors who had perished. These modern discoveries remind us that the ocean is still filled with hidden stories waiting to be uncovered. Whether it's the Titanic or a forgotten warship from World War II, each shipwreck offers a window into the past, showing us how the ocean continues to hold onto its secrets. But recovering sunken treasure isn't as simple as just finding a wreck and pulling up the gold. The world of deep-sea salvage is a complicated one, filled with legal battles, ethical questions, and high-stakes risks. Salvage companies spend millions on equipment and technology to locate and recover treasures from the ocean floor, and they often face stiff competition from other treasure hunters. One of the biggest challenges is the legal aspect of sunken treasure. Many shipwrecks are considered cultural heritage and are protected by international laws. Countries like Spain and Mexico, whose ships once carried the wealth of the New World, often claim ownership of the treasures that are recovered, leading to lengthy court battles over who has the right to the gold and jewels found at the bottom of the sea. In some cases, treasure hunters can strike deals with the governments involved, splitting the recovered wealth. But in others, they may spend years in court, fighting for their share. The economics of sunken treasure is a high-stakes game where the potential rewards are enormous. But so are the risks. As we've explored the world of sunken treasures and pirate legends, it becomes clear that the ocean is a vast, untapped source of wealth and mystery. From the legendary treasure of Captain Kidd to the gold-filled Spanish galleons to modern shipwreck discoveries like the Titanic, the stories of the ocean's lost riches continue to captivate us. But as treasure hunters well know, recovering these treasures is no easy task. It requires patience, skill, and often a bit of luck. As we continue to explore the depths of the ocean, who knows what new treasures we might uncover? Perhaps the next great discovery is just waiting for the right adventurer to find it. After all, the ocean's greatest treasures are not just made of gold, they are the stories that continue to live on in our imaginations, long after the ships have sunk. Imagine descending into the darkest reaches of the ocean, where no light penetrates and no human eyes have seen. The ocean's depths stretch beyond our understanding, shrouded in mystery and the unknown. As we venture into the unknown depths, questions arise that challenge our knowledge of the world. What lurks beneath the vast expanses of the abyssal plains? Are there creatures or civilizations deep within the Earth's oceans that rival our own? Could the ocean be the hiding place for alien technology or even extraterrestrial life? The uncounted depths of the ocean, where reality blurs with imagination and the possibilities seem endless. From unidentified submerged objects to the idea of parallel ecosystems, fascinating mysteries lie beneath the waves, raising questions that might reshape how we view not just our planet, but the universe itself. The ocean floor, particularly the abyssal plains, is one of the least explored places on Earth. Covering over 50% of the Earth's surface, these plains are flat, desolate areas at depths of 3,000 to 6,000 meters, often compared to the barren landscape of outer space. Despite their vastness, much of the abyssal plains remain untouched by human exploration. While we've mapped parts of the ocean, 95% of it remains unexplored. So, what could be hiding in these unexplored regions? Scientists have only begun to scratch the surface of what exists in these deep places. The SEAB 2030 initiative aims to map the entire ocean floor by the year 2030. Currently, only about 20% of the ocean floor has been mapped in detail. The life forms we've already discovered in the deep ocean have been startling, from bioluminescent fish that light up the darkness to giant squid that stretch beyond imagination. But what if there are undiscovered species hidden from our view in the most remote corners of the ocean? Despite the extreme conditions, abyssal plains are home to various organisms, including deep-sea fish, invertebrates, and microorganisms. Some species, like certain types of benthic foraminifera, thrive in the nutrient-poor waters. The sheer size of the abyssal plains means that countless creatures, perhaps even prehistoric giants, could still be lurking below. The megalodon, for example, is thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago, but some speculate that it could still exist, hiding in the depths, far from human eyes. While this may seem far-fetched, it's worth remembering that many deep-sea creatures, like the coelacanth, were believed extinct until they were rediscovered. Could there be entire ecosystems thriving on the ocean floor, cut off from the rest of the world, filled with creatures we've never seen before? As we continue to explore the ocean, it's clear that the abyssal plains hold secrets that may change how we understand life on Earth. For years, there have been reports of unidentified flying objects seen entering or emerging from the ocean, leading to speculation that some UFO sightings may actually be unidentified submerged objects. Could alien technology be hiding beneath the ocean's surface, evading detection by remaining in the deep, unexplored parts of our planet? The first documented USO sighting is believed to be by the US Trepang in 1971, when crew members reported seeing a large, unidentified object moving beneath the surface near the submarine. Then, in 2019, the US Navy declassified videos showing what appeared to be flying objects moving at incredible speeds before plunging into the ocean. Some theorists suggest that these objects are not just extraterrestrial visitors from space, but rather underwater craft that use the ocean as a hiding place. The depths of the ocean are the perfect cover, far away from prying human eyes, protected by the immense pressure and darkness that keep us at bay. Could these sightings indicate the presence of extraterrestrial civilizations that have chosen to colonize the ocean's depths instead of space? The concept of USOs raises intriguing questions about where alien life might choose to hide and why. It's possible that the ocean's extreme environments might even be more suitable for some forms of life than the surface or outer space. Reports of USOs often include descriptions of their ability to travel at high speeds underwater without producing significant waves. In 1978, a USO was reportedly tracked moving at over 100 knots underwater, far exceeding the speed of most known marine vessels. This theory is bolstered by the fact that alien craft would need somewhere to land, and what better place than the most unexplored, remote part of our own planet. Researchers like Dr. Bruce Maccabee, a physicist and UFO investigator, have explored the physics of USOs. He hypothesized that they may utilize advanced technologies such as magnetohydrodynamics, which involves manipulating magnetic fields to move through water with minimal resistance. While there is no definitive proof of subaquatic alien technologies, the possibility remains an exciting mystery, fueling ongoing research into both UFOs and the ocean depths. What if there were intelligent life in the ocean, not in the form of extraterrestrials, but as a deep-sea civilization that has evolved independently from humans? While it may sound like the stuff of science fiction, some speculate that intelligent life could exist in the ocean's depths, hidden from our view due to the inaccessibility of their world. The deep ocean is home to unique ecosystems that thrive in conditions that would be impossible on the surface: high pressure, total darkness, and extreme temperatures. These environments have led to the evolution of remarkable creatures that survive in ways we can hardly imagine. If life can adapt to these conditions, is it really so far-fetched to think that intelligent life forms could have evolved in the deep ocean, completely cut off from surface dwellers? Some theorists suggest that there may be subaquatic cities or even civilizations located in deep-sea caverns or trenches far beyond the reach of human exploration. These hypothetical life forms could have evolved advanced technologies suited to their environment, making them capable of surviving in the intense pressure and cold of the ocean floor. The possibility of a deep-sea civilization is pure speculation, but it raises fascinating questions about the evolution of intelligence and what forms life could take in extreme environments. While there is no evidence yet to support this theory, the unknown depths of the ocean continue to invite us to wonder what might be waiting to be discovered. Beneath the ocean floor, there could be entire parallel ecosystems that we have yet to explore. Recent discoveries of life forms living in hydrothermal vents and other extreme environments have opened up the possibility that life can exist in places previously thought to be uninhabitable. Could there be ecosystems beneath the Earth's crust, hidden in deep-sea caverns that we have never seen? Scientists have discovered life forms that live off chemosynthesis, where organisms derive energy from chemicals in their environment rather than from sunlight. This has raised the possibility that entire ecosystems could exist deep within the ocean, relying on energy sources other than the sun. In these remote environments, life might have developed in ways that are vastly different from anything we know. Deep-sea exploration has already uncovered creatures that seem to come straight out of our imaginations: glowing fish, giant tube worms, and other bizarre organisms. The idea of parallel ecosystems that thrive in places we have yet to discover is not as far-fetched as it once seemed. If these ecosystems do exist, they could hold answers to some of our biggest questions about the origins of life and the potential for life on other planets. While humanity has set its sights on exploring space, the truth is that the ocean remains the final frontier on Earth. With so much of the ocean still unexplored, it may be premature to focus on space exploration when there are still vast areas of our own planet that remain a mystery. The deep ocean holds secrets that could unlock new understandings of life, geology, and even alien environments. Before we set our sights on colonizing other planets, it might be wise to invest more resources into exploring the depths of our own world. The technological challenges of deep-sea exploration are immense, but they are not insurmountable. Advances in submersible technology and remote-operated vehicles are allowing us to explore parts of the ocean that were previously inaccessible, revealing new species and geological formations with every dive. By continuing to explore the ocean, we may uncover answers to scientific mysteries that have long puzzled us. The ocean is a world of extremes, from the crushing pressure of the Mariana Trench to the superheated waters of hydrothermal vents, and yet life persists. If we can understand how life survives in these conditions, it might help us search for life in extreme environments on other planets, like the icy moons of Jupiter or Saturn. In many ways, the ocean is a microcosm of what we hope to find in space, unexplored territory filled with the potential for discovery. By focusing on the final frontier beneath our oceans, we can learn more about our planet and better prepare for the challenges of exploring beyond it. As we've seen, the unknown depths of the ocean are filled with possibilities, some grounded in science, others in the realm of speculation. From the unexplored abyssal plains to the idea of subaquatic UFOs, the ocean continues to challenge our understanding of the world. Could there be intelligent life forms living in the deep ocean, or even entire parallel ecosystems hiding in deep-sea caverns? And why do we continue to focus on space exploration when the ocean remains a vast, untapped frontier? As we push the boundaries of what we know, it's clear that the ocean holds secrets that could reshape our understanding of life on Earth and beyond. The ocean remains one of the few places on Earth where mystery and discovery still go hand in hand. While we continue to explore its depths, every dive, every new discovery seems to open up even more questions than answers. It's an exciting thought. No matter how much we learn, there will always be uncharted waters, and there will always be more to explore beneath the waves. As you lie back, ready to drift off to sleep, let your mind wander into the endless blue. Picture the stilled, silent world that stretches out in all directions beneath the surface, an expanse where light fades into shadow, and shadow fades into the unknown. Let yourself imagine the creatures, the landscapes, and the mysteries that are waiting down there in the deep places where no human has yet gone. The vastness of the ocean is difficult to truly grasp. Covering more than 70% of our planet's surface, the ocean represents the largest habitat on Earth, yet it remains the least understood. It's estimated that more than 80% of the world's oceans are still unexplored and unmapped. Even though we've been studying the seas for centuries, it's humbling to realize just how little we actually know. There are mountain ranges beneath the waves that rival the Himalayas, canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, and creatures that exist in total darkness, surviving in ways we never thought possible. Each new discovery brings with it the potential to rewrite what we know about life on Earth. From the discovery of new species to the revelation of sunken treasures and lost cities, the ocean continues to surprise us. And with so much still hidden beneath the surface, it's clear that we've only just begun to unlock the secrets of this watery world. Let that thought sink in for a moment. We live in a world where, despite our technological prowess, there are still unseen places, untouched ecosystems, and unknown species waiting for us to find them. It's a world that is both familiar and alien at the same time, filled with possibilities that ignite the imagination. Reflect on everything we've explored throughout this journey. Ancient marine giants, underwater mountains, and mysterious sounds. It becomes clear that the ocean is so much more than we can see. What we know of the ocean is mostly confined to its surface, but beneath that, a different world exists. A world where life thrives without sunlight. In that abyss, geological forces shake the planet. And to top it all off, a place where even our most advanced technology struggles to reach. The ocean's depths hold many parallels to the vastness of space, often referred to as Earth's own final frontier. Like space, the ocean contains realms that remain beyond our reach, and this is where mystique truly lies. For as much as we yearn to understand it, the ocean also serves as a reminder that not everything can be controlled, explained, or explored. There is a certain beauty in the fact that some places remain wild, unpredictable, and shrouded in mystery. Curiosity is what drives exploration. It's the desire to uncover the unknown that pushes us to dive deeper, to build better submersibles, and to venture further into the abyss. But the ocean reminds us of the value in not knowing everything. There is something inherently comforting in the idea that some mysteries will never be fully solved, that there will always be a sense of wonder attached to the world beneath the waves. Let this curiosity guide your dreams. Imagine the undiscovered realms that lie beneath the ocean's surface, waiting patiently for someone to uncover them. Picture the strange creatures that have never seen the sun, living in their own hidden corners of the world, untouched by human hands. Envision the alien landscapes of underwater mountains and trenches so deep that the pressure would crush anything we send down. These are the mysteries that keep us wondering, and they are the mysteries that give the ocean its enduring allure. In the end, the ocean is a world of wonders. It's a place where the unknown thrives, where new and bizarre species evolve and adapt to the hellish environment. Discovery sparks a sense of awe and excitement. We may never fully map the ocean, and we may never discover all of its secrets. But in a way, that's what makes it so special. The ocean's unknowability allows it to remain a source of inspiration. It'll continue to inspire our imaginations and bring more literary masterpieces. A reminder that there is still magic in the world. Even as you drift off to sleep, knowing that the ocean's secrets are out there, waiting to be uncovered, can bring a sense of comfort. It's reassuring to think that, in an era where so much of our world has been explored, there are still places where mystery reigns. There are still wonders waiting to be discovered, and as long as we keep exploring, there will always be new adventures to embark on. Although this chapter marks the end of our journey for now, the ocean's story is far from over. Every day, scientists and explorers work to bring fresh discoveries. As long as the ocean remains unexplored, there will always be more to learn. The experts will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, diving deeper and deeper, searching for answers to questions we haven't even thought to ask yet. Know that the ocean will always be there, vast, mysterious, and full of wonders beyond your wildest imagination. Let its rhythmic waves carry you into a deep, restful slumber, and when you wake, remember that the journey into the unknown is never truly over. There will always be more waiting to be discovered just beneath the surface. So now, with the gentle lull of the ocean still lingering in your thoughts, allow yourself to relax. Let the vastness of the deep blue carry you into a calm, serene state. The mysteries of the ocean are still there, waiting beneath the waves. But for now, you can rest easy, knowing that some things are best left undiscovered. And in that sense of peaceful unknowing, you can drift off to sleep, comforted by the fact that the world is still full of wonder. For more episodes that lull you into a peaceful sleep, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments what other topics you'd want to explore.